You good? Thank you. Okay, good evening. We're going to call the February 6th, 2025 school committee meeting to order. We will start with a pledge of allegiance, and then while we're standing, please stay standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Please join us in observing a moment of silence to remember four beloved and longtime members of the Weymouth Schools community, Ellen Butler and Paul Dussault, who both passed on January 24th, 2025, Fred Happel, father of town councilor Fred Happel, who passed on January 26th, and Mary Dalton, who passed on January 27th. Ellen Butler served Weymouth Public Schools as an ESP for 32 years, helping countless students along the way. Paul Dussault served Weymouth High School as a math teacher for 39 years. He also coached the Weymouth High School math team. Fred Happel was a school custodian for 14 years and was a devoted father of two, including Weymouth Town Councilor Fred Happel. And Mary Dalton served the district for 24 years as a head nurse at Weymouth High School. At her retirement in 1999, Superintendent West called her, quote, a model for those in nursing and all who work in education. We remember all four fondly and keep the Butler, Dussault, Happel, and Dalton families in our thoughts. Thank you. And we do have Weymouth Educators Association President, Dr. Mike Murphy on Zoom. And I understand Mike would like to make some, a statement.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can we hear me? Yes?
Oh, we can hear you, yes.
Oh, good, thank you. It's the first time doing this on link. Thank you for allowing me to speak for a second, and I will be short. It's been a very difficult week for everybody in our educational community and for the town itself, losing four people who have such a history with the school district and the town, and many of the teachers and staff that there knew them very well, and many of the kids. But I wanted to just say one little thing, and not to disregard anybody else, but for Ellen Butler, who I've had the pleasure to work with Ellen for over 20 years at the high school. And I just want to say that when it comes down to education, it's not just about the teacher in the classroom, it's about everybody, and Ellen was everybody. There wasn't a day when she didn't come by my room and talk to me and say, hi sweetie, and how are the kids, how's the family, and that genuine concern and empathy for what was going on in the school with all the kids. She was everybody's grandmother, and she will be sorely missed amongst all of us there. So I just wanted to make that point. And again, nothing against anyone else there. But Ellen was, to the kids itself that were there now in the district, she will be missed. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murphy. Your words are appreciated. Moving on, we will tackle the consent agenda. I'll toss it over to Mary Ellen Devine.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the following consent agenda. The first is the confirmation of warrant 32-2025 dated February 3rd, 2025, in the amount of $1,361,916.51 with money to pay. Approval of minutes for policy subcommittee January 14th, 2025, budget subcommittee minutes January 15th, 2025, January 22nd, 2025, the regular school committee meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2025, and the athletic subcommittee minutes of January 27th, 2025. And then finally, the overnight field trip with the date of March 14th through the 15th, 2025 for the Weymouth High School dance team to New England Dance Competition in Trumbull, Connecticut.
We have a motion made. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. We've approved the consent agenda. Next up, report of the superintendent, Superintendent Curtin.
Thank you, Chair. We will start off with some celebrations. We are honoring this week our Weymouth High School girls 4x800 meter relay team of Gracie Richard, Emma Daly, Jess Hardy, and Izzy Galusha. They set both the school and meet records at the MSTCA Coaches Invitational last weekend, and also was the 7th fastest time in the United States. That is absolutely amazing for that team. Also, we had a great weekend at SEMSVA. All but one of our students was accepted, and some of the names that were accepted through their auditions were Lincoln Clark, Teresa Connor, Oscar Cordner, Evan Manko, Maeve Monahan, Annabeth Nazaro, Lee Yang, Serene Yang, Zach Kersing, Angelina Kelly, Bella O'Hara da Silva, Julianne Otera, and Melissa Rubiera. Also, I think the one person that did not make the auditions, it was because of an instrument that broke right before the auditions. So I don't have that name, but I feel bad for that student. Also, I wanted to thank Principal Dolan. Last week, we, as the administrative team, with all of the principals, visited the Chapman School for walkthroughs. And once again, we were very impressed with Jenny Dolan and her administrative team. As we went through a lot of the classrooms, it was important for us to go to the Chapman Middle School. I think all of our elementary principals really appreciated understanding and spending some time in the building that their students are going to transfer into in the future. Excuse me. The classrooms were exceptional. And most notably by a lot of the principals was the culture in the building. Just a kind of that we keep talking about, the well-oiled machine. It is a great atmosphere in that building. There's a lot of kindness and pride and just a really change that we've seen under Principal Dolan, and I really appreciate the work that her and her team are doing at our middle school. And last but not least, I just wanted to remind everybody our K registration is open. So to keep in mind, registrations before April 1st will have priority in their school zone. So it is important for everybody to get their K registration information and appointments as soon as possible. And that is being advertised on social media all over the town at this point. And that's it for me.
Excellent. I also just want to offer you a congratulations, Superintendent, because you did survive your first snow day as a, I know. 50-50 shot at getting it right. With that behind you, I think it's all smooth sailing now.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the committee? No. Okay, moving on to the school committee subcommittee report out. This one should be a little fast today, but we'll start with budget sub. Danielle.
We met last night. That meeting was recorded, so if anybody would like to watch back, that is on the website. The first order of business was the IDEA grant. Funds will be used for IEP meeting tech and need to be expended by September. Betsy Harris will be in attendance on the February 26th meeting to go over this year's, she doing the full year or is she doing the quarter?
She's doing both. She's doing this half year and then
then-
the entire last year. And I think she's actually doing a third year that was amended 2 years
Okay,
ago.
so she'll be reporting on the gifts and grants.
Correct.
Assistant superintendent and superintendent will be touring the St. Jerome School and for Don Bosco, which is being rented out by them. We'll have more information to come about that. Special education transportation contracts will go through a competitive process this year. That contract expires in 2026. We discussed the governor's executive letter, an update to athletics budget. The following presentations were heard by Ed Tech Maintenance District in all primaries. And the next meeting will be,
26th.
thank you, February 26th. And those meeting minutes will be posted shortly too.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Next is collective bargaining. We have not met. Moving on to policy subcommittee with Dana.
The next policy subcommittee meeting is this next Tuesday, February 11th at 6 p.m. in the Adams Conference Room. We'll continue our discussion on the BEDH public comment policy.
Thank you, Dana. Wellness Committee, we have not met. Ms. Curran isn't here for the Memorial Committee, but I don't think
Mm-mm.
I don't think they've met.
they don't have a report. The Scholarship Committee?
The Scholarship Committee met on Monday evening. Just a reminder to everyone, the applications are open. The due date is March 15th, so it's under 40 days that you can submit an application for these scholarships. And just a reminder that they are not just for Weymouth students, they are just for any residents of Weymouth. So if you're continuing education or going back to school, those are open for you. And there are posts on Facebook that you can ask questions. We're all available to answer them.
Thank you very much. Facilities Master Plan, but that has not met, Brian?
No meeting. The town is finalizing the contract award for the 7 modular classrooms. That's the only update.
Which is an important update. Thank you. CPAC, Danielle.
CPAC, for those at Seach, they were currently doing a unified arts, and due to the weather, today was canceled. I'm excited to say that that has been extended, so they will do the last session next Thursday of unified arts and close out their session at Seach. They are excited to announce they have partnered with TA Fitness and to be able to offer a social group at a gym-like atmosphere on February 17th. That's going to be from 10 to 11:30. That is a paid event, so it's $10 a child. This will be a judgment-free, very supportive environment for those that need a little bit of extra support, and, we'll offer some support to families. On March 18th, that will be their regular scheduled meeting. That will be a presentation, an interactive presentation, so there'll be games throughout the presentation on the disability rights movement and, the civil rights movement. And then we also, heads up, Karen, you'll be getting an email. There's a tentative date for the next coffee hour, which will be March 26th, and that will be at the Wildcat Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Health and Safety, Dana.
Yes, the next Health and Safety JLMC meeting is on Wednesday, February 26th at 4 PM in the Adams Conference Room. And if I could, Vice Chair, if I could just take a moment to address some issues that were brought up last night at the budget sub. These are actually some issues that we've been looking at in the JLMC Health and Safety Committee. So I just would like to let the community know that we are well aware and working with the administration, with the teachers union to address some of these issues in the classroom shortfalls, making sure staff is appropriately trained and positioned in certain schools, specifically the elementary schools. So it's not an issue that we're ignoring. It's something that we're always working on. It's a constant action item. And so that was what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then for the Athletic Subcommittee, I just, Mary Ellen just found out that I'm going to ask her to summarize the meeting.
So we had our first meeting on January 27th. We had a very nice audience with us. There was a lot of conversation. It was very productive. It was an ambitious agenda to begin with. So we did an overview of what the committee would be, the purpose of the committee. We also looked at Chapman and the high school's 24-25 winter season schedule. And then, to see where the monies came in and how they fared and if they had everything they needed, as well as looking at the spring season for Chapman and the middle school. We talked about unified sports and had an update on Chapman and the high school. We looked at the FY26 proposed athletic budget for both Chapman and Weymouth High School. We're going to focus a couple of the meetings going forward on unified sports. We're also going to talk about boosters and getting things to be more cohesive and people to be able to work together. Our next meeting date will be in March, date to be determined, but it will be in March.
Thank you. That was a great summary.
Anything you'd like
For
to
being
add?
put on the spot. Thank you very much. All right. Anything, questions, comments from the tables?
Can I just add, not on the, on this list is Townwide Parent Council, which will be meeting Tuesday after policy. at 7 PM here in the community center, and we will be working on, it'll be a working session, working on letters that we can send to our representatives regarding the upcoming budget.
Thank you very much. Anything else? Okay,
Moving
we're,
on.
what's that?
Moving on.
We're on to old business now. We're cranking. Graduation requirements, Superintendent Curtin.
Thank you, Chair. We are looking tonight for the approval by the school committee for to kind of put in the books for the graduation class of 2025 as we start to eliminate MCAS as the graduation requirement. We have all of our students that have passed all of the MCAS tests. They're all set to go. This really is applying to any of the students who haven't that did not pass MCAS. So really what you're approving tonight is the competency determination in replacement technically of the MCAS test. So what we've talked about in the last two meetings is the graduation requirement for 2025 stays similar to what it was with the 22 credits, including completion of all core and non-core subject areas, the 40 hours of community service. And then for competency determination, it is either passing the ELA MCAS or successful completion of ELA 1 and 2 coursework, passing of MCAS math or successful completion of algebra and geometry coursework, and passing MCAS STE or successful completion of biology or the concepts of biology coursework. So that is what the committee is approving tonight
That's with the 40 hours of community service.
with the 40 hours of community service.
Um,
So really, the only thing that's changing is that we've put in there that if they have not passed the MCAS, this is how they would achieve competency determination.
because retakes aren't
They're not, yeah.
valid anymore. Yeah.
Mhm.
Questions from the committee about this?
I have a question. Sorry. Is it in addition to already what they've completed in ELA, or is it just their core ELA or algebra?
So there's the whole list of graduation requirements. But what we're saying is, so usually completion of MCAS is in the 10th grade, so that
Okay.
you've completed your 9th and 10th grade
Okay.
ELA. That's really what it's
Okay,
saying.
great. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Other questions from the committee? Mr. Scott, are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Devine, you good? Good. All right, this is a action item. I'll take a motion to approve the 2025 graduation requirements.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025 graduation requirements.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We now have our clarified 2025 graduation requirements. Moving on, we have policy manual revisions, a second reading. I will toss it over to Mr. Scott.
Thank you. So on January 23rd, we presented our recommendations for changing some of the information in the policy manual regarding address updates and some names and positions that are no longer applicable. So to summarize, section AC-R, for those at home that may not have access to the agenda if you're watching on TV, section AC-R, the non-discrimination policy, which includes harassment and retaliation. We'd be updating our former address of 111 Middle Street to 89 Middle Street, and we be updating the human resources title of Director of Human Resources, which is the current position, and removing executive from that title. Section ACAB-R, the sexual harassment, we would remove former superintendent / assistant superintendent Robert Wargo's name and just refer to the assistant superintendent of instructional services and support. Section JBA, student-to-student harassment, we would remove Robert Wargo and Marianne Foley's names and refer only to the assistant superintendent of instructional services and support and the director of human resources. And we would also, once again, update the address from 111 Middle Street to 89 Middle Street. Section JBAA, sexual harassment in Title IX. We would remove Med Verlico's name and Marianne Foley's names, only referring to Executive Director of Student Support and Director of Human Resources. And once again, updating 111 Middle Street to 89 Middle Street. Section KF-R, the regulations governing the use of school property, updating address 111 Middle Street to 89 Middle Street. And section ACE-R, the non-discrimination on the basis of handicap, updating 111 Middle Street to 89 Middle Street. That's it. That's the summary of those changes.
Thank you, Dana. So first off, any questions, clarifications from the committee? This is the second reading, so any questions from the audience on Zoom or in real life? Nothing, Ashley. No, that's no. Okay.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry,
Sure.
I'm a little delayed. The titles of the policies, is that something we get from Mask or is that ours?
That was, those were titles that,
Yeah.
under my understanding, those were titles that the former superintendent had created
Okay.
and had put
Oh,
into
the
the
position
policy. Yeah, the
titles,
position titles.
Oh, no, I mean the
Titles,
title, I'm
yeah.
sorry, I didn't clarify. The titles of the policy. It does come from MASC. Okay, so I'll email them. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. It's
Um,
a handicap is an outdated
Mhm.
term for disabilities, so it's, thank you.
Are we, I think these are pretty, these are innocuous, innocuous changes. Are we interested in packaging the second and third readings together tonight?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we combine our second and third reading.
I'll second that
We
motion.
have a second. So the question on the table right now is to combine second and third readings. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. So we're gonna do the we're skipping to the third reading right now. So take a motion to approve these policy updates tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the policy manual revisions, which include contact information and address updates.
Excellent. And we're just to clarify, we're referring to the policies in front of us.
The policies that were listed.
Yes, perfect. I'll take
I'll
anybody,
second the motion.
I'm already getting tired. It's only been 23 minutes. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent. So these policy updates have passed. Check that off the list. All right, next up, the high school program of studies.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
All right. So you should have received an updated working copy of the program of studies with anything that's highlighted in blue is in reference to the changes that we discussed in our first reading and came back with the changes that were recommended. So, and you also got a updated summary of changes. So on page 15, we took that MCAS summary that is in relation to the new law and just kind of wordsmith the paragraph, made it more readable. So you'll see that on page 15. On page 16, I had spoken at the table that I misstepped and forgot the words, including biology and physics, but we had talked about that. On page 69, there was a recommendation to, we talked about adding that skills component to the perspectives in literature, and that we also changed the title to add that skills component of the writing. So very straightforward. It is now perspectives in literature and writing. We did speak, it's not on your change sheet, but I do want to clarify something that was said at the table last week or 2 weeks ago. The English 4 Skills for College and Career Growth, that is the new class that is a semester class. That is one of those skills-based classes for 12th grade English. It was stated that it was specific to CTE students. I want to clarify it's specific to all students. So that class is for all students. It is not just for CTE students. It's to help support all students building those interpersonal communication skills for various pathways. On page 82, you will see that there's added language under the safety readiness training that this class does not fulfill the PE requirement. So if a student is going to take that class, they will also be taking PE as well, that this is just a health class. It's a valuable class. It's not just a health class. I want to be careful of my words.
We got it, Karen. We're cool. It's cool.
Also, changed lifestyle sports to lifetime sports and just changed that summary to reflect that change. On page 101, I thought in my copy, I had the summary of what that class was. So we talked about it. It's just now actually in the program studies. I don't know how that happened. On page 108 to 111, Mrs. Curran had mentioned that it didn't state what grades could the semester elective courses in science were open to. So it was a great catch, and so we just made sure that we were consistent in all of our science electives, that it says it's open to grade 11 and 12, and that they're all semester classes. So it's just really unifying that language, but wanted to draw that attention there. On page 109, concepts of biology, this is one class that is not necessarily open to grades. It is 11 and 12. It is department approval is needed for this class, and this really aligns with the MCAS change. And then on the special ed section, we did look at what was under that special ed section, and I do agree with Ms. Graziano that the reading classes belong in the ELA department, and the consumer and math class belongs in the math department. So we moved those there and kept everything else that doesn't really have a home
Mhm.
other than a special ed home
Yep.
in that special ed section.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that is all I have. I don't know if there's any questions.
Thank you very much,
Yep.
Principal Arnett. Questions, comments from the committee? Go ahead.
I just want to thank you for amending the verbiage on the MCAS paragraph. It reads much better now and doesn't seem so clunky. So thank you.
I'll say that the feedback I've gotten from the community about the personal finance requirement has been extraordinary.
Great.
absolutely.
One of the most popular things I think
Yes.
we've heard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was, yeah, excellent job.
But we're excited for that. Yeah.
Anything else?
Just another thank you for taking a look at that and
Okay.
making that adjustment. I appreciate it.
Anything to
Good.
say?
Yep, okay.
This is the second reading technically of like a policy document. So are there any questions or comments from from the community? Amy, are we good on Zoom? Okay,
Can I just make one announcement?
please, yes.
I would like to invite all families, it will be in our Sunday message, that on February 26th, Wednesday, that's a Wednesday night at 7 PM, we will be doing a course selection process. So we invite all families to come in, and we'll talk about everything course selection, because March is all about course selection.
Can you repeat that?
Yep, February 26th, Wednesday at 7 PM in the auditorium. We will be talking about the course selection process. So it's a great opportunity to come in for all grade levels to to learn about the courses the students will have as offerings for next year. And we will be inviting in our teachers that teach AP and dual enrollment, and our department heads will be available for any questions.
You're probably going to ask, I'm going to ask.
So the seventh graders, no, okay.
I was gonna ask about eighth grade.
Eighth graders coming up, will they have their
Well,
own
they'll-
attachment or
Yeah, this is really for
Current.
current ninth,
current high
Current
schoolers
students.
going forward?
Yes.
Okay,
but we will do a
special one down. at the
something
terminal.
for that transition eighth grade to ninth grade.
Thank you.
But eighth grade parents are more than welcome to
Ex-
come.
Right, sometimes repetition is good.
That's true.
Most times.
Thank you very much.
Is that your question?
That was going to be my question.
Okay.
We're twinsies. So I'm not seeing much need for further edits or further discussion? Would the committee be interested in combining the second and third reading tonight on the high school program of studies? Ready to do. Okay,
Motion?
I'll take a motion.
I will make a motion to combine the second and third reading for the Weymouth High School program of studies.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So now we're going to vote again. So I'll take a motion to now approve the Weymouth High School program of studies.
I make a motion to approve the Weymouth High School program of studies.
I'll second that motion.
Motion to approve the Weymouth High School program of studies has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Looks like we're
Great.
done, Karen.
Thank you. We
Karen.
appreciate that.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Okay. We're moving right along. Now we're under new business. The agenda item complaint regarding January 14th, 2025 Policy Subcommittee meeting agenda. So I'm just going to read a statement so I don't mess anything up. It has come to the committee's attention that an error was made when posting the January 14th, 2025 Policy Subcommittee agenda. A draft agenda which did not list the specific policies that the subcommittee intended to discuss was accidentally posted in place of the final version of the agenda. Moving forward, our administrative assistant will create a Google Doc meeting agenda for each subcommittee meeting. Our administrative assistant will share access to meeting agendas with respective subcommittee chairs. Agendas will only be drafted using these shared documents. It is our hope that this process will resolve any future instances of this type of error, as we will no longer have to manage multiple versions of the same agenda. Further, all Weymouth School Committee members are reminded that concerns regarding meeting agendas and open meeting law should be addressed prior to holding or engaging in an open meeting. Adhering to open meeting law is certainly a responsibility that we all share. Any questions, comments from the committee? Moving on, we're going to review the draft 2025-2026 school year calendar with Superintendent Curtin.
Wow, look at that. We're already talking about next year.
Look at that.
Here we are. Just some things to kind of point out for next year's calendar. We had tremendous feedback from our parents and staff this year of the beginning of the year calendar, that our parents were happy with some of the changes we made for transitions into our larger buildings. And also our staff was, really accepting of having the 2 professional days at the beginning, that they really felt like they had time to be prepared and be ready for their students when they came in. So we are planning to start the next year the same way with professional development days, the Tuesday and Wednesday after the holiday. Thursday, the 4th, would be the first day of school for grades 1 through 6. And then the 6th grade and then the 9th grade would be the only grades in the Chapman in the high school, so that they have time to settle into the building, explore the building. They have the staff's full attention. And like I said, that went really well this year. Pre-K and K would start Monday, the 8th. The only other thing that we put on there an asterisk for September 16th. That's a potential for a local primary. So we're not putting it as a day off, but if there is a need for a local primary, we would have to have a no school on that day, because we need to save one more professional development day for the November election. So we're going to leave it in there as a school day. We'll know more over the summer, June, July, if there's a need for a primary. So then I'll bring the calendar back for an amendment if we need to do it at that time. Those are kind of the big pieces. The last day of school with 5 snow days is June 19th. Oh, sorry, that's June 19th would be if we have no snow days, I believe.
19th is Juneteenth, so
Juneteenth. Trying to think. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry.
26th.
The 26th. There it is. I keep looking at these colored blocks. June 26th would be the last day of school, including 5 snow days.
Is that, I'm sorry, is that for, that's not for this year. That would be for the hypothetical year?
The hypothetical.
The
year,
hypothetical.
yes.
Questions, comments from the committee, Mary Ellen?
So if we do need to use the 16th, does that use one of our snow days?
Yes.
Okay. Second question. I just want to put it out there. I know other districts have the day before Thanksgiving off. Has that ever, I know it would have to go through the union or to meet days, but is there a way to switch a different in-service day or whatever so that, I know there's a lot of traveling that takes place, a lot of preparation for the Thanksgiving day, but I just didn't know if it could ever be considered that we have, instead of a half day on Wednesday, a full day off on Wednesday.
I'm not sure. I'll refer to Brian on the contract, but it's really, it wouldn't be an in-service day. It would just be no school day.
Or no school.
So it would add another day to the end. So if we are looking at,
I don't know if it's something that can be brought. I just know other districts have that day. And I'm always a little jealous that they have it off. We don't.
I think when it comes to school year employees, that answer, absolutely. And then I think what you were getting to is with our other non-school year contracts that might have to be discussed
I didn't think of the other.
because those,
ones.
that would still be a work day.
Okay, thanks. Just a thought.
Any other questions, Mary?
It looks really good though.
Yes,
It's so easy to read and follow along. So I appreciate the work that went into
wonderful.
it.
yes, thank you to Kelly Powers.
it is so easy to understand and so clear. Any questions, comments down the table?
No.
You good, Dana?
Good, thank you.
So this document is on our website, under the agenda and meeting materials. We're not going to vote on it tonight. We're going to vote on this proposed calendar at the next meeting. So I encourage folks to go take a look at the calendar and get us any feedback before the next meeting if you have it. And moving right along. Oh, we're at public comment. Public comment. We're going to follow the policy, BEDH. Does anybody have public comment from the room? Come on up.
Using the name and address?
Yes, please.
Okay, Ashley Dickerman, 846 Pleasant Street, Weymouth, Mass. 02189.
Thank you, Ashley.
Obviously, I live in Massachusetts. Just about the calendar, real quick, I know in the past, usually for elementary, the whole school starts and then kindergarten starts the week after. Is that still going to be the same format for next year?
Yes, so the elementary is starting grades 1 through 5 on Thursday, and pre-KK will be on the following Monday.
Okay, just out of curiosity, this is just a thought that I had as a parent before. Would you ever consider starting actually kindergarten first and letting them have a full week in the building without students to feel like not overwhelmed by the crowds and then reverse it? Would that ever be a consideration?
So to have kindergarten start first and everybody else come several days later would add to the end of the school year, because the kindergarten can't start until our teachers are back contractually. So if we have
Okay.
just kindergarten in school for like a week, that would mean we'd add a week to the end of the school year for all.
And they
of the
also do professional development the
Yeah.
first 5
And
days?
there's
the first 5
screening,
days?
so part of the reason why K is moved
Oh.
out is for the screenings that happen while grades 1 through 5 are in the building.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
And it's also to support the buildings and kind of getting their routines and driving and parking before all of our littles are ready to come in the building as well.
Yeah, that makes sense because the new parents
Yes.
need some time
Mhm.
to, okay, yep, gotcha. Thank you.
Any other public comment from the room? We'll toss it to Zoom. Amy, nothing. All right. We'll move on to announcements. We have a policy subcommittee meeting on February 11th, 2025 at 6 PM in Adams Library. A budget subcommittee meeting, February 26th, 2025 at 6 PM in Adams Library. And then at 7, the same night, will be the how to choose a class meeting here in the auditorium.
Selection.
Class selection, busy night on the 26th. Any other announcements? You mentioned townwide.
Townwide is also, so busy night on February 11th as well. 7 o'clock here is the townwide parent council meeting. And just a final plug for the scholarship committee. parents and students, you have until March 15th, so less than 40 days to get your application in. There are new scholarships. There's a lot of people that are supporting education through scholarships, so the scholarships are out there.
Every penny helps.
Does.
Any other announcements?
Just another plug for the CPAC meetup. That's going to be at TA Fitness. That's at 70 Fennell Drive. That is a paid event. It's on February 17th from 10 to 11:30.
Anything from Dana? No?
That's it.
Admin? Before we adjourn, I just want to say thank you to some folks who always help us out with these meetings, and they're amazing. And we never get to actually have time at the end of our meeting to say thank you. So Ron Zaccardi is always sitting here, always helps us out. So thank you, Ron. Amy Moore keeps us in order. Kelly Powers puts all this together. And very special thanks to our WETC partners who do really tolerate a lot from us. So thank you very much. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night.